Hello, welcome back to the shop. Not sure when this is going to get posted, but it was yesterday that I made the video of putting the cleats in the bottom of the box. So I had my colonoscopy earlier today, and I guess public service announcement. It should be done. It was a long night. Let's just put it that way. But I am there, still feeling a little bit off due to the anesthesia, but I wanted to come out here. It's a nice night. There's nobody else home, so there may be some chemical relaxation going on, and I wanted to take everything out of the clamps. But I came out here to take the clamps out, so these are all fully in place. I cleaned up the glue that was on there. There's actually quite a bit that was, you can't really see it, but it was under here, so you can't see it from the front. So that way when the draw slips in, it doesn't hit anything. But there were little glue droplets hanging down that I had to take off, which is a sharp chisel. You can do that, and then kind of you go into the corners, kind of press it in there, slice it a little bit, and then almost like a scraping motion, you pull that along, and that's how you take off most of the glue. It's a little bit easier when it's not as dried as hard as I had left it. But it worked. So I came out. Now my next step is to, it's kind of a boring step, but the next one in the project, which is taking the leather, attaching it to the board, the shelf, and you're just going to show you how I do that. So this should be fairly short. We're going to rearrange. There we go. Can we see the vise? Yes. Okay. I was drilling out some PVC pipe for my garden. That's another story. So got a little bit of that, but I want to clean this area as best I can. Clean the leather. I want this as the face side, so I'm really gonna spend the time, cleaning this, because I don't want anything getting in the way. I'm going to use double-sided tape. Board, I guess I could use rubber cement, but that sounds like it's got a lot of fumes and everything. I know that's the top, but once I cover that up, I'm going to be in trouble. So like I said, I have that on there that says L with an arrow pointing up, so I know that from my perspective is going to be on the left side. That's the right side, so once I cover up that thing that says top, that's fine, which I could also easily distinguish the top from the bottom by the chamfers that are sitting in the bottom. I thought about putting what they call a rabbet all the way around to make it sit a little bit farther down, and I guess I still have that option, because if I make a little bit of a rabbet that comes in here, the wings will still catch the cleats that are in the box, but sit down just a little bit more snug. And I don't really need that extra little bit that would save me, so I'm just going to leave it like that with those corners. That corner that's just knocked off, like I said, that just makes it easier when I'm placing it on here. I can very easily locate it. So I can tell easily which side is the top, which side is the bottom, but I can't tell by not having that which side is the right and left, so that is now taken care of. This is essentially going to go, not super tight in the corner, because I want it to be an exact fit, so I'm going to leave just a little bit of a margin on there, and I'll take that off with a knife. So let's go ahead and I'll show you how that's done. So start here. Going to bring that right up to the edge, even hanging over just a little bit. take that off. All right. And you'll see a pattern here. Just gonna kind of rinse and repeat. I am not going to overlap the tape. And double-sided tape is a really handy thing to have in the shop. This will be a permanent addition, but it's very good for making temporary jigs. I think I showed on another video. I showed I showed myself making a miter box, and the miter box uses double-sided tape to hold together. All right, so that'll go away. Okie dokie, get that in place. This is the hardest step of the whole procedure. Getting the tape to come off. You just got to find that one spot. And then you got to do it 3 times. If anybody has a trick to doing this, I'm all ears. Generally, I do like to use the edge of the knife. See how well that works? And for those that are wondering, you've seen the sharpening video. The last step of sharpening is on the strop. This is the exact same way that I made this. This leather was the reason I bought this project is the reason I bought this leather years and years ago, and that just held on there with double-sided tape. All right, so now that's going to go. I'm gonna get it close to the corner because that way I have the least amount of waste as possible, and that will stick pretty well. But just for the sake of completeness, we're gonna put it in here. We're gonna give it a good squeeze, and that since the shelf piece is made of pine, this is probably gonna indent it in some way. But again, you're never gonna see the top of it. All right. Now comes the fun bit. I'm going to get that knife as close to the corner as I can. I'm probably digging into my bench a little bit. The leather is thick, so I can feel that one didn't go all the way through. Not yet. I'll probably use a utility knife for this as well. Keep your fingers away from this, although I probably should have sharpened my knife before I started this, but the camera's already on. No going back now. I do believe there's also tools specific for cutting leather, and there is sometimes where it comes in handy. I made a pair of bookends. I think that was last year. I made those, and the bottom of them, same thing as I'm doing right here. I just had leather on the bottom to give it a little bit more grip than because with the wood on wood wasn't great, but the extra leather just gives it just enough friction on the bookshelf to just enough friction to stop them from sliding, and it looks nice. And this is going to be the same all the way around. And now this long strip, much like when I'm marking a piece of wood, at first I'm not trying to do it all in one pass. I'm going down little but a little kind of let the tool do the work. And after a while, I do get a little bit heavier with it because now the groove has been set in, and the knife just kind of follows it. And I don't know if you can tell, but that's a double, can you see, a double beveled knife. So my knife isn't going straight up and down. Otherwise, the cutting edge would be, 1/16th, maybe even a 32nd away from the side of the wood. So my knife is actually angled a little bit towards it. And, that piece is just being stubborn. Let's get rid of this hunk here. Okay. Perfect. That's done. You know what I think was the tape that was holding me off there? Digging right into the bench. Kind of why I don't really mind having a utilitarian bench. The bench itself is not pretty. It is very effective for what it does. This is a tool that I use for every single project. There, look at it. It's got stain on it. It's now got different scrapes and everything. And I did resurface it a few years back, and it looked really nice. And all this is, well, these are 2x4s. This was a 2x12. Well, a couple of 2x12s. This whole project was made. I was telling my dad what I wanted to do, and he's like, "No, don't get 2x4s. They're too wavy. You're not gonna like it." He said, "Let me go to the lumber yard that he knows, and I'll buy 2x12s that are better quality, and we'll rip them down ourselves." And he came over to the house, and we spent probably a good hour or two on a very small contractor's table saw that I had, because when I first started, I wasn't hand tool only. I was kind of I had the table saw just it's like a cheap craftsman saw that I modified to make it a little bit sturdier and stronger, but the thing didn't have a whole lot of power, and full size 2x12 is that's a heavy piece of lumber, and so we were just off to the side here, and going through there, and it blew the circuit for that it was plugged into like 3 or 4 times by the time we had finished. But we cut down all of the 2x12s into like, well, 2x12 is not quite 12 inches wide. What we cut it down is to get 3 boards as thick as we possibly could out of it, and that's where all of these pieces came from. So they're not 2x4s, but they're self-made 2x4s. Okay, so there we go. That's what we have here. I am going to just kind of knock off all the dust, and let's see. I've got 150 grit sandpaper. I don't know if I've showed you that trick before. I cut a little bit of I cut down halfway, so that way I can fold over the paper, and that way no grit touches any other grit. And I like this size for sanding. And what I'm going to do here is just kind of scuff the sides a little bit, just because I think it'll look cool. Takes away some of the harshness. A little angle in a little bit. All right. And but here's the moment of truth. I have not. You're watching this in real time. I have not tried this yet. This is all going by my design and what I'm thinking. That's the right side. That's the left side. Looking at it from my angle. Let's see how it goes. Boom. There. Can't see it from the front. There it is on the inside. And it covers the corners. I can't see the cleats. There's no, like, okay, there's a little bit of a rock, not rock. There's a little bit of play side to side. Yeah, in each direction, but it's a very good fit. As the wood moves, expands, it contracts. It's just floating there, so it's not not going to stop anything, but it's going to keep the carcass square. And I gotta say, yeah, I was originally, my original idea for this shelf was just a mahogany wood shelf, the same mahogany that I took this out of. I got plenty of it left. But I really like that. That's gonna hold ink bottles, and I think eventually ink is going to spill. It happens. You can always tell when I refilled a pen because my hands are either blue or black depending on what color I'm using. And yes, it's gonna get on the leather and it's gonna stain it, but I think that's gonna look better than the mahogany getting damaged. So I'm happy with that. That came out pretty good. Okay, thanks for watching. The next video I think is going to be I'm feeling this. I still have to fully fix that because I can feel some undulation. I got some really wiry grain back here. I think that was the part of the problem when I first made the box. It's close, but it's not perfect, and you'll see that when the lid comes up. The next one's going to be planning out the lid, the size. I'm going to show you how to do it because I have the dimension. I don't have the wood ready for the lid yet. So I think the next time I'm out here, videoing something, that's going to be what I do is that's going to be what I do is showing you like the measurements and how I'm coming about sizing the pieces, and then I'm going to have to actually size the pieces. All right. Thanks for listening to my stories and sticking with me, and I'll see you guys next time.